You're not ungrateful. You're awake. This is the Dignity Room, a place that's always yours. Come in.
You are not alone, not technically. There's someone in the house, someone who knows your schedule, your coffee order, the name of the colleague who drives you crazy, someone who's been there for years, maybe. And sometimes sitting on the couch, both of you on your phones or at dinner, where you talked about the kids and the calendar and nothing else, a feeling moves through you that you don't know what to do with. You feel alone. Not lonely the way you would feel if you actually were alone. Something more confusing than that. Lonely while someone is right there. You don't say it. What would you even say? I mean, I feel alone and you're sitting 2 meters away, so sounds a little bit crazy. It sounds maybe also ungrateful or rude, so you put the feeling away and keep going. That feeling has a name, and today we'll look at it. First, I do not tell you what to do. That is your decision, completely and entirely yours. What this episode does is name something a lot of women feel and very few say out loud. The specific loneliness of being in a relationship and still feeling alone inside it. Not because the relationship is failing or your partner is a bad person. Because at some point, something between you went quiet and neither of you noticed when it happened. This feeling gets misread by the woman feeling it and by everyone around her. The most common misread: if I feel lonely, something must be wrong with the relationship. And that's not necessarily true. Some of the loneliest moments happen in relationships that are, by every external measure, working. Two people co-managing a full life together. The school run, the mortgage, aging parents, weekends. You functioning, okay? And still, something essential is missing. What's missing is usually something smaller than love or respect, something more specific, the feeling of being genuinely known, not as a co-partner or a household partner, whatever, but as a person. The specific person you are with your particular thoughts and private worries we all have, and it's normal. The things you find funny at 11 p.m. when you are finally not performing any role anymore. When did your partner last ask you something about you? Not about the schedule and not about the children or some logistic blah, but about you. What you are actually thinking. I mean, how something is really going. Not the managed answer, the real one. And for a lot of women, that question is hard to answer. Not because the answer is bad, because it's been a long time. So when you remember or think about the dinner where you talked about the school trip and the broken boiler, and both of you knew, not consciously, but somewhere, that the conversation wasn't really anything, right? I mean, you talk, but you not really talk. You know what I mean? That's the evening this feeling lives in, and the absence inside that evening of being genuinely curious, known by the person closest to you is a very specific kind of lonely. It doesn't mean the relationship is over, but unnamed things don't get better, they get heavier. So when you remember to the beginning, okay, so in the beginning, you were genuinely curious about each other. You asked questions that weren't about logistics. You knew what the other person was worried about and what they were hoping for, what they found funny. And you were interested in each other as person, not just as co-managers of a shared project. And then life accumulated. Children, if you have them, careers that demanded more, parents who started needing things. The invisible load arrived, and with it came a quiet reorganization of where attention goes. The relationship, which doesn't shoot for shout, sorry, not should shout, which doesn't shout for attention the way a child does. Like, I mean, they need all the time everything. A work deadline does. I mean, also, we have a lot to do, and there are many, many things, and sometimes it gets very stressful. And this is more important than the partner, unfortunately. So urgent things take space from important things, and the relationship stopped feeling urgent. And slowly, the conversations narrowed. The questions became logistical. The evenings that once had space for nothing in particular. So you're just being two people talking without an agenda, filled up with everything else. Just the ordinary compression of a full life, removing the slack that intimacy needs to breathe. That's how you get there. The curiosity didn't die, it ran out of room. So let's make an experiment, a little small one. One question this week. In a moment that already exists, not a scheduled conversation, not a specific occasion, just an ordinary moment with your partner where you ask something that has nothing to do with the shared life you manage. Something like, what's been on your mind lately? Or is there anything you've been looking forward to that I don't know about? Or very simple, how are you actually? And then, so this is the part that matters, okay? Actually waiting for the answer, not the automatic, everything's fine answer, okay? No, wait past that. See if something real comes. Because we are tend to say, oh yeah, everything is fine, no, nothing in special or whatever. No, get deeper, get really, okay, and what's the real answer to my question? You're not trying to fix the loneliness in one conversation. So I want to be clear on that here too, because you starting and everything what we start, it's like, okay, we need to do it step by step. But you're finding out if the curiosity is still there underneath the logistics. Okay, and for most couples, it is. It just needs someone to ask, or ask this question or couple of questions, different questions easy questions, whatever, but questions that aren't about Saturday plans or some schedule or whatever. So take one question this week and see what comes back. And here is also the harder version of this. And this one takes more courage. Ask yourself the same question you would ask him. So, like, what's been on my mind lately? Not the household version, not the task list version. What's actually there underneath all the running? Because sometimes the loneliness inside a relationship is also the loneliness of not being asked that question by anyone, including yourself. So here are 3 things to take with you today. 1, feeling lonely inside a relationship doesn't mean the relationship is failing. The loneliness is more specific than that. It's the absence of being genuinely known, not as a function, but as a person. And that absence can exist inside a relationship that's otherwise working. And it's worth naming because unnamed things get heavier. 2, the drift happened through ordinary, reasonable things. So the curiosity didn't disappear. It ran out of room as life accumulated and the conversations narrowed. That means it can come back. It just needs someone to create a small opening for it. And 3, one question this week. Something about him, not about Saturdays or logistics, whatever. And then wait for the real answer. The curiosity is probably still there in both of you. It's just been a long time since anyone made room for it.
I didn't want to build a stage. I wanted a table, one we sit around together. That's Dignity Queens, women like us, talking honestly, showing up for each other. It only works because real women bring their real voices. Yours would matter there. Come join us. The link's in the show notes. This was the Dignity Room.